All right, take two, right? Is our bloopers. Okay, so we have been learning about figurative language. We have learned about, who can tell me some figurative language that we've learned about? Joaquin.
I could eat these all day.
Oh, okay, you're giving me, oh, you're ahead of me. Get something else.
An eye of tiger.
Oh, okay, you guys are already giving me, you saw that word hyperbole. But besides, so everyone's familiar with this word hyperbole because we've had a little bit of an introduction. But can you tell me some other figurative language that we've learned?
Sweet like honey.
Oh, what is that? What type of figurative language is that?
A simile.
A simile, sweet like honey. How do we know that that's a simile? How do we know it's a?
With like and
The like. So it usually has the words like or as. Simile. Bravo. Okay, what other? So we've learned besides simile, we've learned another type of figurative language. What else have we learned? Metaphor. Metaphor. It's one of those funny words. It's got the PH in it. Like phone. Can you tell me metaphor? Can you give me an example?
You are my star.
You are my star. Is that really your star?
No.
No, right? It's not. What are you trying to say?
Like you are my name, like you're bright.
Yeah, you're bright. You're important. Yes. Can somebody else give me a metaphor? An example of a metaphor? Nova.
You're as brave as a lion.
You're as brave as a lion. Okay, that it's still figurative language, but we have that word as in it, so it's a what?
Simile.
Simile. Can anybody else give me a metaphor?
I can read a voice.
Ooh, you're in the figurative language world, but you're ahead of me. You're too smart for me. You're what we're gonna learn about today.
You're a rock star.
You're a rock star. You're a rock star. Are you really a rock? Are you really a rock and a star? No. Yeah. So good job. All right. So we're learning all this figurative language, and when we say figurative, we've already talked about that. It means when you're saying things that really aren't literal, right? Literal means you're actually doing them, okay? Shine bright like a diamond, okay? You're not really shining like a diamond, right? If you got an award, or if you were singing and you did something really well, or when we're getting ready for a performance, I was like, oh, you guys are shining bright like a diamond. If I got a diamond ring and compared it to you guys, you're really not shining. But what I'm trying to say is that you're really standing out. You're doing so well, right? So that's what figurative language means. And you'd be surprised if English is not your first language, and if you weren't brought up here in America, a lot of people who come from different countries don't understand figurative language. They take it to be literal, so they might get confused. So a lot of times English learners have a lot of trouble learning our sayings, because they're sayings, right? Let me give you an example. So I've shared with you guys many times that before I was a teacher, or maybe you forgot, maybe I haven't shared it. I used to work in healthcare for years. So I worked in a hospital for years and years. And I remember we had this colleague of ours, and a colleague is someone that you work with. So when you guys are older and have your career, so you guys are students, so you would say fellow students. Okay, well, a colleague is someone you work with. And I remember we were talking about a situation that happened, and someone said, yeah, he threw me under the bus. Does anybody know what that means? He threw me under the bus? And it actually is going to have to do with what we're talking about today. But have you ever heard that? Be like, he threw me under the bus and I got in trouble. What does that mean, Joaquin?
He blamed something on you that you didn't do.
Yes, he blamed it on you. He snitched you out. Somebody threw you under the bus. Where does that come from? I don't know. But when we said this in front of him, and he was from India, and we're like, yeah, everyone's having this conversation, right? And we're all in the lunchroom. He's like, yeah, he threw me under the bus and I got in trouble. And he was like, he placed you under a bus? Like, he did not understand what we meant. He thought that someone physically got this person that was telling the story and like pushed him under the bus, and that he got hurt, like almost hurt. It blew his mind. But to us, figurative language is part of our English language. It's part of like our slang, like our comfortable language, right? So when you're writing a proper essay, we really aren't using figurative language a lot. But in our everyday talking, right, we use figurative language more so than you guys even realize, right? You may not know what it's called, but you use figurative language all the time. So when we said he threw him under the bus, you knew what it meant. It meant they snitched you out. They got you in trouble, right? So he didn't understand that because he wasn't from here and he wasn't familiar with it. When you say he threw me under the bus, that is what's called hyperbole. Can you say hyperbole?
Hyperbole.
I want you to turn to your neighbor Okay, let's paper, rock, scissors. Who's gonna say it first? Oh, you're there? Oh, you two. You two right there. Give her a chance. Let Nova, and I want you to look over and I want you guys to say, just say hyperbole.
Wait, go.
All you need to say is the word hyperbole, and then your neighbor says it to you. Hyperbole. Hyperbole. All right. That's all you needed to say was hyperbole. Good job. You might see this word, and you might, because we know this is back when we were learning to read. Now we read to learn. But back in 1st and 2nd grade, we know that when we saw like the vowel and there was the E at the end, it usually was a long vowel sound. So if we were trying to learn this in 1st or 2nd grade, we would say hyperbole, right? Hyperbole. But this is a funny word. It's hyperbole. So we're educated, right? So we're condors. So whenever you see this word, you'll be like, oh, I know that word is hyperbole. Say it again. Hyperbole.
Hyperbole.
All right. Okay. I'm so hungry I could eat a horse. I'm so hungry I could eat a horse. How many of you have ever said that? Or how many of you have heard someone say that? Right? No. Does he look scared?
Yes.
Yeah, because he heard you, right? He heard you say, I'm so hungry, and he was like, ooh, don't eat me. Okay? But this is what's called an exaggeration. An exaggeration is when you make something bigger, better, or worse than it really is. Okay? Bigger, better, or worse than it really is. Am I really going to eat a horse if I'm hungry? If someone just handed me a horse, or they're like, well, here. Could I really eat the horse? Absolutely not. But I'm exaggerating, okay? I want you one more time to look over to your neighbor, do the same thing. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. See who goes first, and I want you to repeat after. All right. All right, this is what I want you to say. Exaggeration.
Exaggeration.
To make something bigger.
To make something bigger.
Better.
Better.
Or worse than it really is.
Or worse than it really is.
Now the other partner, the one who lost, ready? Exaggeration.
Exaggeration.
Is when you make something bigger.
Is when you make something bigger.
Better.
Better.
Or worse than it really is.
Or worse than it really is.
All right. Okay. So it's when you make it bigger, better, worse than it really is. I'm really not going to eat a horse. If I say this, am I trying to tell you that I'm a little bit hungry, or am I trying to tell you that I'm really hungry? Really hungry. That's me making it bigger or better, right? Or even worse. Like, oh, Mom. Even if I were to say, I'm starving, I'm not really starving. Starving means like near death. Like it's very, very, if I haven't eaten in a couple hours, I'm really not starving, right? I'm exaggerating, right? That's my kids. My kids will call me, if I don't eat McDonald's, I'm gonna die. Are they really gonna die?
No.
But they're letting me know they really want what?
McDonald's.
Right, yes. They have to, I don't know why. My kids could eat McDonald's every day.
Me too.
What about this one? It's hot like an oven in here. It's hot like an oven in here. Who remembers when we were coming to school when it first started? We would get in here, especially when you guys came back from recess. It would be so funky in here because it would be hot. But I saw everybody what? When you're hot, what happens?
Sweat.
Sweat. So if I'm saying it's hot like an oven in here, what do you think I'm saying, Sebastian? Is it a little hot?
It's really hot.
It's really hot. But is it really like an oven?
No.
No. Have you ever noticed what the numbers that are on your oven?
Yeah.
What the temperatures?
Yeah.
Okay. Can anybody just name one temperature that you might see on your oven if you ever bake, Fernando? Okay, not 233. They usually are like in increments of like 10 or 50. Yes. 350 degrees. So 350 degrees is a very common temperature that you set your oven to cook. Do you think we could survive in 350 degrees?
No.
Absolutely not. Okay. Yeah.
It's a dinosaur. It's a baby dinosaur.
All right. So back to this, guys. Yeah, they're changing.
The AC did.
They're changing the filter. It's okay. All right, guys. All right, Andrew. Focus, Panda. All right. So if it's hot like an oven, think about it. If it can cook raw meat, there's no way we could be in oven temperature, right? Absolutely not. So this is an exaggeration. Let's say that again. Ready, everyone? Exaggeration.
Exaggeration.
To make something bigger.
To make something bigger.
Better.
Better.
Or worse than it really is.
Or worse than it really is.
All right. So we're gonna watch a short video on it as well, just to help us get that into our head. Miss Abby, can you go ahead and start our video, please?
Hyperbole is a literary device that uses exaggeration to make a point. Here is an example. The Dodgers pitcher must have been throwing 800 miles per hour yesterday because we just couldn't hit him. This statement is hyperbole because nobody can throw a baseball 800 miles per hour. It is clearly an exaggeration. However, this hyperbolic statement or exaggeration does make the point that the Dodgers pitcher was throwing the ball hard. Your mission is to listen to the dialogue and identify the hyperboles or exaggerations that you hear. Dude, yesterday I played the best video game in the history of the world. What game? What? What game is that? Dude, no game in the universe can rival it. Okay, I get it, alright? What game? Dude, the whole world is playing this game. It's so lit. For the millionth time, what game are you talking about? I'm talking about Among Us. You like that stupid game? Dude, cry me a river. You love Fortnite. Now that game is ancient history. Why on earth are you not playing Among Us? I'm drowning in homework, man. And I have a ton of chores to do every day. You are full of crap. You are not drowning in homework. We take the same classes. We have one paper due, that's it. The paper is taking me forever, man. The teacher wants like a bazillion pages. Dude, you are making a mountain out of a molehill. Just relax, play some Among Us, and do your paper later. You are the worst friend in the world, you know that? I haven't slept in months. I'm so stressed, and you want me to play a video game? Exactly. You need to relax. Dude, I'm gonna beat the living daylights out of you if you tell me to relax one more time. Ha! You will beat me up when hell freezes over. Dude, you see how tense you are? Now you want to fight me? Yeah, I guess you're right. I need to chill out. How about we go get some grub? Dude, best idea you've ever come up with. I'm so hungry I could eat a horse. Let's get, how about tacos? Great idea, man.
All right, go ahead and put that on pause, please. There were a lot of things in there. So go ahead and press escape. Thank you. Okay, there were a lot, and we would have to watch it multiple times. But who could catch one that was in there? Who caught one hyperbole that was in there? Yes, Javier. Tahini.
When I found in there was that if you tell me to relax again, I'll beat the living daylight out
I'll
of you.
beat the living daylight. Beat. What is he saying? What does he mean? What's the real meaning? I'll beat the living daylight out of you. What does he really mean when he's saying beat the living daylights? What does he mean, Joaquin?
Javier. He's gonna hit him?
Yeah, he's gonna beat him up. But the daylights, how are you gonna beat the daylights out of me, right? But he's just letting you know, right? Or Andrew, what was another one? That's the first one. I'm so hungry I could eat a horse. What was another one? Did anybody eat? So hungry I could eat.
A caballo.
Yes, a caballo or a horse. That's right. What was another one? What was another one, Abigail?
I told you like a million times.
I told you like, did he really tell you a million times?
No.
What's he trying to say, Abigail?
I've been asking you like, what is the game? It's like,
Oh, over and over, right? Repeated. I told you a million times. Yeah. Really? A million? Ezekiel, what was another?
this homework is gonna take forever.
This homework is forever is an infinite, right? There's no end, no beginning. Is that homework really going to take forever?
No.
But it's letting you know he thinks it's going to take what?
A long time.
A very long time. This homework is going to take And I'm just gonna abbreviate forever. What was another one? What did you hear, Monet? Cry me a river. What does that mean when he's saying cry me a river? What do you think he means? Cry me a river. What do you think he means by that? Rivers filled with what?
Water.
A little bit or a lot?
A lot.
Yeah, cry a lot. Like basically like you're being a crybaby. You're being a crybaby. What did you hear, Josiah? I'm drowning in homework. What does that mean? There's a lot of homework. I'm drowning in homework, right? Is he really drowning? No, but he's trying to tell you, I'm drowning in homework. He's saying, I have a lot. I am overwhelmed. There was something he said about Among Us. He said it was the best video game in the
history.
He said two things, in history, and then he said everybody in the
Universe.
is playing it, right? Is really everybody in the universe, right? But what he's trying to tell you is there a little bit or a lot of people playing it?
Wow.
Right? We know what it was right away. He said Fortnite was what? He didn't say trash. But that's hyperbole too. Hi, if you say Fortnite's trash, what are you trying to say? Do you like it or not like it?
No, I like it.
No, because is it really trash from the trash can? No, but if you say Fortnite's trash, that means you're saying you don't like it. It's not good. But he said that Fortnite was ancient
History.
So what's he trying to say?
It's old.
It's an old game. It's an old game. Absolutely. Okay. All right. So we saw that video, and the video helps us. It does great things, right? When we see it with our eyes and we hear it with our ears. So here's some examples. So again, hyperbole is when a statement is exaggerated to make a point, right? I want to get my point across, right? I want you to fully understand. Let's say that one more time. Hyperbole is when a statement is exaggerated. Perfect. All right, hyperbole. Can you guys, I say, you say, let's do echo. I called you a million times.
I called you a million times.
Does that mean I called you just a few times?
A
or
lot.
Yes. That pizza is bigger than Texas.
That pizza is bigger than Texas.
Does that mean you're getting like the little rectangular pizza at
No.
school or like the big one at Costco?
Big one.
All right. The Costco pizza is a big pizza. The whole pizza? Yes, absolutely. I will die of embarrassment.
I will die of embarrassment.
What does that mean?
Exposed.
Scared.
A little bit of embarrassment. Well, yeah, really embarrassed. Really embarrassed. Right? He is older than the hills.
He's older than the
Oh,
hills.
one more time. He is older than the hills.
He is older than the hills.
Are we talking about a baby or your grandpa?
Your grandpa.
Yeah, he's really.
Oh.
Right? Her brain is the size of a pea.
Her brain is the size of a pea.
That's not very nice to say, but what are you trying to say about that person?
He's
Yeah.
Her brain's tiny.
Yeah, she's not very smart,
Brain
right?
is smooth.
She only has 2 brain cells in her brain.
Right? I'm dying to see that in the movie.
I'm dying to see that in the movie.
And why am I saying it that way?
Exclamation
Exclamation mark. Okay, am I really dying to see that in the movie? What am I trying to say? Yeah, I really want to see it, right? You're like, yeah, I really want to see it. Even a baby could pass that test. Nathan, what am I saying if I'm saying even a baby can pass that test? It's easy, right? Because babies can do easy things. All right, Miss Abby.
Let the baby do my homework.
Yeah, let the baby. All right. All right, next, Miss Abby. All right, so it seems like you guys have really got a hold of it. So before I send you off and you do a little assignment on your own, and that's your exit ticket, we're going to go over just a couple more to ensure that you absolutely got it. Because some of these are not as common as the other one. Like you guys knew right away, like, I'm so hungry I could eat a horse, right? Right, things like that. Those are common. We say it all the time. He threw me under the bus. You guys knew that, right? There's a lot of them. But you can use it in lots of other ways. What about this? My dad's snoring is louder than a freight train. What am I trying to say, Joelle? If I'm saying my dad's snoring is louder than a freight train, what am I trying to say? Yeah, that he's snoring loud, right? How many of you heard a train when it comes by? Right? You hear it at night. Everything about it, from when I don't even know what they're called, but when those things come down to let you know you can't pass, you hear it, and then here comes the train, and you get everything. Jessica's smile was a mile wide. Jackie, what are you trying to say? Jessica's smile was a mile wide. Her smile is big. So what do you think that she's feeling? What does that say about her? She's really happy, right? Jason stayed up all night reading his new book. What are they trying to say? Jason stayed up all night reading his new book. Nova, what are they trying to say? Jason stayed up all night reading his new book. Do you really think he stayed up all night?
Yeah.
He could? You think all night or maybe just really,
6 hours.
like really early or late?
6 hours. Late.
Like 3 hours.
What do you think? If you're staying up all night reading his new book, that's kind of an exaggeration. Maybe if he usually goes to bed at 8, this time because he read his new book, he didn't go to bed until midnight. So did he go to bed early or late? If you go to bed at midnight, are you going to bed early or late? If you have school in the morning. Late, yeah. So they're just exaggerating. I can't imagine that you would stay up all night. But this one's kind of funny because that really could happen. Sometimes people pull all-nighters, especially if you're a college student and you have things you have to do. I have a million things to do today, Abigail. What does that mean? I have a million things to do today. What does that mean?
I have a bunch of things to do.
So I'm going to be really
Busy.
Yeah. If I have a million things to do today, I'm busy. And Miss Assistant, Miss Abby, the grizzly bear was as big as a mountain. What am I trying to say about that grizzly bear, Abigail? Or Abby, I'm sorry.
I'm trying to say that the grizzly bear is really big.
Yeah, I'm trying to say that the grizzly bear is really, really, really big. Okay? So, just to kind of wrap up what we've talked about, I want you to remember this. Hyperbole is a form of what? What kind of language? What kind of language? What's the word? What's the word, Christian? Figurative language. Can you say figurative language?
Figurative language.
So far, we've learned about similes. Can you say similes?
Similes.
And we've learned about metaphors.
Metaphors.
And now we've learned about, can you say hyperbole?
Hyperbole.
All right. So, before we wrap it up and I give you your assignment, I want you to say hyperbole.
Hyperbole
Is when you exaggerate things
is when you exaggerate things
to make them seem
real.
better.
Better.
What else? Do they remember? Yeah, worse than it is?
Big.
Or bigger. Yeah, bigger, better, or worse. So it's when you exaggerate, okay? So, I am going to send you something through Google Classroom. That's your exit ticket. And what you're going to do is you're going to drag either the hyperbole icon, and it looks like this. So it's going to look like, I haven't assigned it yet because I knew that some of my friends would get right into it. So you drag either the hyperbole icon or the none icon to show whether the statement is hyperbole. So if the statement is exaggerated, then you're going to drag the hyperbole icon on it. So this looks like a what? It's like a cell phone, so it could be like an app. Okay. Does anybody have an issue? Does anybody have any questions? They don't get what hyperbole means. They don't understand exaggeration. Fernando, what's your question? Yeah, because as or like is a what?
Simile.
Yeah, so if you see that, no. All right, because if you look here, we don't have as or like. Well, grizzly bear was big as a mountain, but the hyperbole is it's exaggerated, but that could be either because we're comparing the grizzly bear to a what? Mountain. Yeah, good job. But that still is hyperbole because we're exaggerating. All right, good question. All right, guys. So I am going to yes, sir. That's the one I told you was kind of tricky because some people could pull an all-nighter. That's something that's realistic. But for the most part, when we say, oh, I was up all night, you really probably more than likely were not up all night. but that's exaggerating it to let you know I was up late, right? I was really up late doing something. Yes, Mr. Joaquin.
Oh, never mind.
Okay, all right, guys. So I am going to assign that to you in just 1 second.
Bye bye. Show the